What up, Laker Nation? It's your boy DTLF back with another video, and promised you guys I'd be updating you guys up to the minute on this stuff, man. And I was just about to go live when I got some news. The Lakers offered Westbrook, Horton Tucker, and the 2026 first round pick for Malcolm Brogdon, and it got rejected, unfortunately. But what can we get out of this, guys? What can we get out of this recent report? And again, I'm still reading up on the details and everything, but this is, more information will be provided real soon. So, Lakers trying to actively trade Russell Westbrook. Of course, that makes us excited because that's what a lot of Laker Nation wanted, right? But a lot of developments here. Guys. I think it's interesting because what this means is not only are we actively shopping Russell Westbrook, but it means we're likely gonna go ahead and make a blockbuster deal this summer again. So Kyrie's still very much on the table, even though the reports today are a little less sense of urgency than yesterday as far as the Kyrie front. Another rumor has surfaced that the Charlotte Hornets are extremely interested in Russell Westbrook. We already knew that since the trade deadline. We have talked about previous packages. We're going to get into that. But I do want to talk about this trade package, man. What do you guys think of this trade offer that the Lakers offered? Russell Westbrook, Taylor Horton Tucker, and the 2026 first overall pick to the Pacers for Malcolm Brogdon. It was just rejected. It was rejected. So that's not going to happen. Don't get too excited. But I'm saying, what do you guys think of that trade offer? I mean, I find it really interesting. So we are willing to part with a first round pick for the right piece, is what I see. Right? That's what that's what it is. But were we giving up too much for Malcolm Brogdon, who's coming off of injuries? Or is that just right? What do you guys think about that? I'm not sure I like this trade offer very, very much, to be honest with you guys. We're giving up. Obviously, unloading Russell Westbrook's contract is a huge positive. But I would love it if we would have got somebody like Miles Turner in return. Right? If we're giving up a first-round pick especially. So, yeah, that's a crazy development. And again, the details are starting to surface, but I find it interesting. Yes, the Lakers are trying to get rid of Westbrook. What do you guys think of this? Too much for Brogdon. Brogdon is an overplayed role player. He's not worth the pick. Yes, Miles Turner and Buddy Hield. Where was this reported? It just lit up. Bleacher Report just went off. So just as I was coming on live. But like, here's my thing. I guess it was from the ESPN Giovanni podcast or something like that. I don't know. ESPN's reporting. Bottom line is this. Whether it has some validity to it or not, one thing we do know is that, yes, maybe Russell Westbrook won't be a Laker. Maybe all this was, they were blowing smoke up, where. Bottom line is that's not the only rumor today with Russell Westbrook. We're hearing that the Charlotte Hornets are extremely interested. Matter of fact, I have the right here. It says Russell Westbrook interest that Mark Stein reported back months is real. That he reported months ago, sorry. It's real. Though Westbrook makes little sense as a player next to Lonzo Ball, of course, he does have an expiring contract, and the Hornets could be dropping a bag for restricted free agent Miles Bridges. Plus, LaMelo Ball's extension is around the corner. It's a good time to move some other long-term salary. Okay, if the Hornets were to pull off a trade for Westbrook, the players they would be sending back to the Lakers could be some combination of Gordon Hayward, Teddy Rozier, Kelly Oubre, or Mason Plumlee. Those are the players that were reported today to be included in a trade package, all right, that are being offered up to teams. So, a lot to unpack, guys, a lot to unpack. And I love it. This offseason just kicking off with a bang so far. We might have a lot of trades this summer. Look, here's the bottom line, okay? Are the Lakers willing to take back a lot of salary for future years, especially considering the fact that LeBron hasn't committed here long-term as of right now, right? So, I'm not sure if this excites me very much because the players that Charlotte is offering, there's only a few that I like. I don't want Gordon Hayward. All right, he has more than 1 year left on his contract, and he's always injured. Teddy Rozier, I wouldn't mind. He's a very good point guard, but to me, he's a way better bench player than a starter for me. Kelly Oubre, I like, but he's inconsistent, and Mason Plumlee has good size and athleticism, so I also like him. But remember, these guys right here, are they really needle movers for us? This is what I do like about them registering interest, though. Maybe they could get involved in a 3-team deal. Maybe maybe the Brooklyn Nets have some pieces. Maybe they have some pieces of Brooklyn Nets like. Maybe if that Kyrie thing, starts unraveling over there and they don't reach a deal, then maybe, just maybe, all right, outside chance, we can complete a 3-team deal or maybe even a 4-team deal with the Charlotte Hornets involved. Of course, we all know that Kyrie would have to opt into his contract to make this a realistic possibility, at least to the final year of his contract. But man, like everything is just starting to listen, the veil is starting to be uncloaked. We're starting to see what the Lakers' true intentions are. As we get more details on this, again, before I went live, I just read that the Lakers trade package got rejected for Brogdon, right? So Lakers were interested in Brogdon. He's a player that I definitely like. I'm not sure if he's worth a first-round pick plus THT, but he's definitely a player I like. But unfortunately, yeah, the Pacers did not like that package. So we're starting to kind of gag what type of trade market Russell Westbrook has, right? He doesn't have much of a trade market except for a team that values cap space next season, like the Charlotte Hornets. So this is why I was excited about him being an expiring contract, because he can be moved. Clearly, people were saying before the offseason started that there was no way we could move Russell Westbrook, that we were delusional. Well, here are the reports of teams actually being interested in him. So where there's a will, there's a way. But again, for as far as Charlotte Hornets, I hope this isn't a direct trade, because we'd be tying up our salary for years to come with Gordon Hayward, Teddy Rozier, etc., right? All the way up to like 2025 or 2026. But yeah, I guess the silver lining here would be that the Lakers wouldn't have to give up a first-round pick to unload Russell Westbrook, right? A lot of people believe we cannot. Compete with Russell Westbrook, no matter what coach is there. So he said with the second-round pick, the Lakers will buy. I hope we get Isaiah. What is that? Brockington. Yeah, the Lakers are looking to buy a second-round pick. And if we do get that second-round pick, I'll be dropping a separate video to tell you guys what players I like. He's not bad, by the way. But yeah, I haven't really seen too much on him this season because we didn't have a draft pick, so I didn't really scout too heavy. But I do have a couple players in mind that I will be dropping a separate video for with clips. Please don't give up Reeves. Hopefully not. Thankfully, he hasn't been mentioned in trade rumors or nothing like that. But yeah, hopefully not. He's definitely, I can see him as a part of the future, since he can already slide in and play some major role minutes, since he's a 3-and-D type of player, for sure. He said, I'm one of those people that think we cannot compete with Westbrook, but I wouldn't want to give up too many assets either. I think at this point, the Lakers might have to rebuild. Nah, bro, you cannot rebuild with Anthony Davis and LeBron on your team. I'm sorry, man. I agree with the first part, though. I wouldn't want to give up many assets as well. So let's see what the Lakers do here. But we are going to have some options. That is the good news. And with this recent news of the Lakers trade offer being rejected for Malcolm Brogdon, what does that do for Russell Westbrook's trust factor? Now I almost feel like we have to trade him because he knows he's not wanted, right? I almost feel that way. He said, we need to re-sign Malik Monk. I'd love to have him back. If the market isn't too crazy for him, for sure. Maybe we give him the mid-level exception. I don't know. But listen, we've done this before, right? With clutch agents, we have signed them at a cheap price and then gave them an extension like KCP later with the money they deserve. So I'm not sure I would give him more than 10 mil, though, for as of right now. He had a great season, but can he repeat that? He's still very extremely young. What is he, 24? But he needs to show he could do it back-to-back seasons before he gets a really big paycheck, in my opinion. But yeah, anything under 10 mil, I'd be okay with. But we don't have that kind of cap space right now, so to be determined. He said, Dan, I would rather keep Russ than trade away our future draft picks in return for long-term contracts they don't want. Look, here's the thing. If you listen to the Charlotte Hornets trade package, they're not requesting a draft pick from us because they value the expiring contract, and they could sell some Wolves tickets to their fans with a superstar like Russell Westbrook. So it could work for both parties there. But again, the Lakers have to weigh their options first before they do anything crazy and make sure that you're not locking yourself up long term with somebody like Gordon Hayward or Teddy Rozier, who might not give you the bang for your buck as far as their contract is concerned. But it is nice to know we have options because, again, everybody was being really pessimistic on Russell Westbrook saying, "Oh, we're screwed, Dan. We don't have no cap space. Nobody wants Westbrook. Nobody wants that bum." Well, guess what? I told you guys. You underestimate the value of an expiring contract. We've done it before historically. We traded Kwame Brown basically and a bunch of role players, one that turned out to be Marc Gasol, future All-Star, for Pau Gasol. So it's been done before. But that's the key right there. You have to make sure you get that same good value in return for your expiring contract. You don't want to just trade to make a trade, right? Because that could end up shooting yourself in the foot in the future. My boy Corey said, "What's good, Dan? Shout out from Youngstown, Ohio." Hey, what's up, Corey? Appreciate you, man. Shout out to Ohio, man. Youngstown, my bad, butchered that. Reeves is a high IQ player like Nash and Stockton, so he's staying. That is high praise. I don't know about Nash and Stockton, but I do listen. His defense is elite as a young player. Can it become elite with the best of the best in the league to be determined? But I definitely think that Austin Reeves would find his way onto any NBA roster. That's how good he is defensively. And then everything else is a bonus. I definitely like what he did at the end of the season, right? That last game, he showed us he can get buckets, right? And he's very confident. And he puts his head down. He can drive. He's sneaky athletic. But his basketball IQ plus his defense are my two favorite things about that young man. And I hope that he continues to develop and we continue to develop him. Remember, we did just bring in a shooting assistant coach. We kept in our player development coaches. And obviously, we got new coach Darvin Ham on the way. So I am very curious to see what he can do with young talent. But yeah, man, listen. All I want to know is how excited would Laker Nation be had we landed Brogdon, had they not rejected that trade? So again, for those of you just tuning in, right before I came on live, I saw the notification. My phone started blowing up, and I saw the Bleacher Report notifications saying that the Pacers have rejected a deal from the Lakers for Malcolm Brogdon that included Russell Westbrook, THC, and a 2026 first-round pick from the Lakers. Still looking up for, details on that because, again, it was right before I went live. But as far as that trade goes, it didn't move the needle for me. I like Brogdon, but I would have been much more excited for Miles Turner. I really would, because we could use that size, and him and AD would have been some decent twin towers. Brogdon, we run the risk of having a similar season to what Kendrick Nunn did, where the injuries plagued him and he really couldn't even play. So, man, it's so many moving parts here this offseason, so many different things to consider, so many different aspects. But the one thing I can tell you is that the Lakers are trying to improve the roster. That is a positive for sure. Will we get the big fish like Kyrie or Bradley Beal? Who knows, all right? Not likely, but anything's possible. However, as long as we improve this roster, we're moving towards the right goal, in my opinion. We're going towards the right direction. So that's what we need to do for sure. Lakers should have kept Kuzma. Westbrook ruined the championship chemistry. I agree with that. But you know what? Before Kuzma got traded, everybody wanted him gone. I got so tired of the slander. I said, let him go and shine somewhere else. But sometimes you don't know what you have till it's gone. That's just the facts. Randolph, appreciate you, my brother. Hey, man, hopefully you're doing better, man. Good to see you, though. Good to see you on the stream, brother. Yeah, Lakers going away from toxic Westbrook. They're trying. Will they pull it off and make our roster better, to be determined? But I do want to ask Laker Nation this question. Who do you guys prefer from that package, potential package from Charlotte? Let's just say it's not a 3-team trade, and it's straight up, right? The combination of Gordon Hayward and Teddy Rozier, or Kelly Oubre and Teddy Rozier, or Mason Plumlee. What combination would you guys deem acceptable? Because we're giving up cap space flexibility for the future, so these have to be players that can come and contribute for years to come. All right, who would you guys deem acceptable for that expiring contract? He said, why not buy out Westbrook? Because we don't want to go through the same crap we did with Lil Dang, where we have dead cap just sitting on the roster. But let's see what combination Laker Nation could put together. He said Bridges, not attainable, man. I'd be shocked if they trade Miles Bridges. Him and LaMelo Ball, nice combination for the future. Oubre and Hayward, wings. Ooh, what about Rozier, though? You don't like Rozier? Rozier and Plumlee, none. This guy wants no part of that trade package. Okay. Is it Terry and Kelly and Mason and PJ would be nice. PJ Tucker, are we talking about offseason? Or what are we talking about here? The salaries for Malcolm, don't match. I'm sure there was different. Again, we're waiting for the. Thanks for the donation, bro. By the way, we're waiting for the details on that trade offer, but I'm sure there was other moving parts. Could have been maybe even been a three-team deal. Who knows? Um, but yeah, that was reported right now on Bleacher Report right before I got on. Still waiting for updates on that, as far as that goes. Is it Dan Russ for Colin Sexton? Oof, that would be a dream. That's definitely somebody worth invested into, because that kid is going to be solid. I'm shocked the Cavs aren't willing to pay to keep him and Darius Garland in their backcourt. They decided that I guess Darius Garland is their guy. But again, rumors are flying off the wall right now, man. I'm just looking for updates. At the end of the day, it'll be interesting to see if the Lakers do get something done before the 29th. Now, also, people have to factor in the fact that Russell Westbrook still hasn't opted into his contract. Is he holding us hostage so we don't trade him somewhere he doesn't want to go? Or like, what's the deal there with Russell Westbrook? What's your guys' theory on why he hasn't opted in? He knows he's going to opt in. He's not going to leave $47 million on the table and give us all that cap flexibility. No way. So he has to opt in, right? So what's the deal with that? Like, what do you think he's trying to hold up, hoping that the Lakers don't trade him? Maybe a couple of deals, fly off the radar while he's holding on to that contract extension? No clue. How about we give up Russell Westbrook for LaMelo Ball? Not going to happen, buddy. That would be a pipe dream. And even though we're Laker fans and we dare to dream, that is a little far-fetched. Rozier and Oubre for Russ. That's probably, listen, based on health, that's probably my favorite package for Russ because we get two able bodies who can put up numbers. Although they are streaky players, they're definitely nothing you can count on consistently. But, it's better than, even though I think Gordon Hayward is a better player when healthy, I'm not sure you want to take that gamble. We should pick up PJ. We need a player like that. PJ Washington, you mean? Okay, PJ Washington would be a nice get. I'm not going to lie. I would get excited for that. Has good size versatility. So, yeah, that's not a bad take right there. The question is, are they willing to trade him? That's the real question. But, yeah, PJ Washington, he hasn't been mentioned in the rumors. If the Lakers can get him, yes, I'd be excited about that. Oh, Brian says, bro, trade AD, aka Street Clothes, and Westbrook for Irving and Ben Simmons. Lakers take a big gamble. But if Bron can get Ben Simmons mind right, oh my God, him at center would be crazy, and Bron and Kyrie. Here's the problem, Brian. I don't want to trade Anthony Davis. It's going to be really hard to win a championship without Anthony Davis. We need a Pippen to LeBron's Jordan. We need that. We need a we need a Kobe and Shaq duo. We don't need to break that up for, listen, Kyrie would be great, but we'd be losing size, and running Ben Simmons at center is a big no-no for me. All right, you can get away with that versus certain lineups, but that small ball crap, listen, you saw Steve Kerr try it, and they were getting killed. So right away he inserted Looney. Kevon Looney made a huge difference. So we need all the size we can get. Plus, Anthony Davis is a generational talent, man. And I get it. That's always Kyrie Irving, but you want to make sure you get a star like that for the minimal right now that his trade value is low. And not, listen, I don't care. You call him Street Clothes or whatever. He's a champion. So he's proven to me he can do it for a long spurt and help lead us to a championship along LeBron James. You don't want to you want to add without subtracting. We're adding Kyrie. We don't want to subtract Anthony Davis. That's not the right equation, in my opinion, at least. But listen, there's gonna be a lot of hot takes. That is definitely one right there. But I personally, I would not go that route. He said the Lakers Hornets trade is going to happen. Makes sense for both sides. It very well could. I mean, obviously they're registering interest, but the Lakers were looking at other packages. So that means that the Lakers are going to do their due diligence and try to get the best they can, which I commend them for that. You don't want to jump at the first package because something better might be available. But look, at the end of the day, whatever the Lakers do, we have to make sure that we get better from it. Because if we end up shooting ourselves in the foot, let's just say we make this trade for Russell Westbrook and Gordon Hayward ends up getting injured and we acquired him. He gets injured, so he's out. So you have dead salary on the roster. And then the other piece we get, either Teddy Rozier or Kelly Oubre are streaky players. So how much of a difference can they make, right? That's the true question. I remember how high Charlotte was on Teddy Rozier, but now they're trying to move him because of LaMelo Ball, obviously. So it makes sense. Now, he still has some potential. I'm not saying that, he's not a good player. Definitely a good player. But I prefer a player like that very much off the bench, similar to how I preferred a player like Dennis Schroeder off the bench. I feel like that's their best place to basically take over offensively whenever they in spurts right off the bench. Not a lot of pressure as playing alongside LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Now I'm still very hopeful that whole Kyrie Irving situation unravels because he's the perfect starting point guard alongside LeBron and AD. If we're being realistic, all right. How about PJ Tucker? Yes, PJ Tucker. PJ Tucker. I talked about him. Watch out for him. Now he opted out, obviously, with the intent of re-signing with the Heat. But if we can pry him away from the Heat, that would be huge. All right, I've been talking about. People say we got to get younger. Yes, but you make an exception for a veteran like this who has the experience and can night in and night out can guard the best player on the opposite team, anywhere from 1 through 4, right? Anyway, sometimes even 1 through 5. So. Oh, you were talking about PJ Tucker? Did I get him confused? Bro, but yeah, I wouldn't mind PJ Washington. So when you say PJ, it could be either of the PJs, man. Yes, sir. Yo, Dan, what happened? Well, apparently, according to Bleacher Reports, and take it with a grain of salt, but supposedly our trade offer that we made for Malcolm Brogdon was rejected. This trade offer was Westbrook, Horton Tucker, and the 2026 first-round pick. So that was reported per ESPN Jonathan Giovanni on the Low podcast. So yeah, that's where the source came from. We're making offers, man. We're trying to unload this Russell Westbrook apparently. So again, I told you guys we don't know. People have been asking me how should I rate this roster. Well, it hasn't rounded out yet. So I want to see what happens. Does Russell Westbrook get traded? Do we acquire another star or do we just get a bunch of good role players? I'm for it either way as long as it makes us better. What do you guys prefer, though? I've been reading tons of comments that say, Dan, the Lakers haven't really learned from last year. Try to swing for the fences and trade for these superstars. They should just go with valuable role players instead. Well, you might get your wish. For everybody who thinks like that, we might have a trade with Charlotte. So, again, before that trade even comes to fruition, Russ would have to opt in. Right? He said Hornets are holding on to LaMelo for dear life. He's a second Trae Young. Oh yeah, he's not even included in my conversations, man. I'm being realistic. I wouldn't trade him if I was them either. No way. The potential that kid shows. Matter of fact, the Golden State Warriors are very pleased with the way they've drafted, but they really had a huge blunder by passing up on LaMelo Ball. They haven't even played James Wiseman that much. So clearly he wasn't missed during this championship run. Now imagine had they factored in the talent, the basketball IQ, and the shooting abilities of LaMelo Ball. He would have for sure been the fourth Splash Brother because obviously Jordan Poole is the third one, right? So, wow, that would have been a very scary team for years to come. And clearly when Curry retires, he could have easily passed over the baton. So that was a huge miss. For as much as we've praised the Warriors on their drafting abilities, they really missed on that LaMelo Ball drafting, right? But again, everybody makes mistakes. That's why we can't be too mad at the Lakers for not drafting Jason Tatum because everybody makes mistakes historically. I mean, look at what the Suns did. They went for Ayton instead of Luka Doncic. That was an immense mistake. Can you imagine Luka and Devin Booker in the backcourt? Man. So, yeah, again, and then, by the way, they might lose DeAndre Ayton. Although there's a rumor that they're looking to trade the number 8 pick to clear some more cap to re-sign Ayton. So we don't know. They could have had Anthony Edwards too. That's what I'm saying. That is a good point. Sometimes we forget they were in the same draft. But, man, look. Sometimes you hit and sometimes you miss. Nobody's perfect, right? I've scouted some players and I've hit even as a fan. And then some have, went past my radar. Like, I never imagined Luka would have been this good because obviously I didn't see him play overseas. I didn't follow his career like that, but it's a hit or miss league, man. And I'm excited for the draft, guys. It's 2 days away. So make sure you guys smash that post notification bell. Subscribe if you already haven't, and like. Truly helps the channel out. Keep growing this Laker family because I truly feel like we have the best chat in all of YouTube when it comes to Laker fan base. You guys are extremely educated, and that's why I try to get you guys involved as much as possible. Now, all right. With all that being said, my prediction. All right, and I could put it under the hot takes episode, but I don't want to do all that. Just a quick prediction. Russell Westbrook will not be a Laker. Will not be a Laker. Based on these recent reports and what I feel like they're trying to do. Russell Westbrook will not be a Laker by the start of next year's training camp. That's my prediction, or hot take, or however you want to take it. Do you guys believe that he'll suit up for the purple and gold again? All right, I want to hear it in the chat right now. What's your guys' prediction? My prediction is he won't be. Whether he gets traded for a star player or he gets traded for a bunch of good role players, that is my prediction. I feel like at this point, it's going to be really hard to hold on to him, especially now that he knows we've been shopping him around. He said, I don't have a favorite team anymore, really, but I want to see the Lakers win another championship. That's right, man. Hey, if you don't have another team, the Lakers is always the best side to pick. Yes, sir. He said, fake news, there's no real confirmation, plus salaries don't match. I mean, it's coming straight from ESPN, man. I wouldn't report anything. Bleacher Report, it's all over there. It's plastered all over there. All right, so I'm not reporting anything that's not on ESPN. So there it is. Pacers reject Russ trade. So it's not fake news. It's just how credible is the source, right? He said he's going to take the time to opt in. He is. He's definitely going to take the time to opt in, but I feel like that's because he wants to limit the Lakers' options, right? He's playing his cards, hoping that trades happen in between, and the Lakers don't have a lot of options. Now we're forced to hold on to him. He stays here, plays out his contract, $47 million, and he goes elsewhere. Like, if I was his agent, I'd probably advise him the same thing. But like at the end of the day, it's better to be up front, right? It's better to be up front and get everything out of the way, right? He said, Lakers don't need Kyrie. They need role players around AD and Bron. But listen, we can still get role players even after getting Kyrie, as long as we don't get hard capped, which means there's no way we can do a sign and trade. That would hard cap us. Salary cap rules are atrocious, man. Then the new CBA, they need to work these things out because they're just all over the place. But those rules are put in place to prevent powerhouse teams like the Lakers from building super teams, right? But the best way that we can land a Kyrie and still get role players would be if he opts into the final year with the agreement that he's going to get traded to the Lakers. That could happen. Question is, does he want it? Is this a players-driven league? Does LeBron AD want him here, and does Kyrie want to be here? Mind you, what was it, late last week or this weekend, I think it was, LeBron James was spotted in New York. What he was doing there, I mean, he's a businessman. He's a mogul. It could be anything, but it could also be maybe he was talking to Kyrie Irving. I mean, you just never know. It's a players-driven league, and they do things behind the scenes and set things up. LeBron's been known to recruit players all the time, right? You think LeBron wouldn't like to run it back and have a skill set he knows he can trust, that he's been to the finals with, brother in arms that he's been there with? I think he would, in the trenches. So it could happen, guys. But at the same time, we don't want to get carried away. I told you guys, there's a 50-50 chance he even gets traded at all, which means there's a high chance he stays. Told you guys this in yesterday's video. Also, I think the Lakers' chance of acquiring him, if he does get traded, is only like a 30% because there's going to be other suitors. Obviously, the Knicks are going to have cap space. There's somebody that would love to land a superstar. All right. The Clippers, for some reason, always emerge. Anybody the Lakers are interested, there go the shadow team in LA, the Clippers, trying to throw their chips in. Listen, at the end of the day, it's going to be whatever Kyrie decides, right? He's basically a free agent, and he can right now, even though he hasn't officially opted in or out, he's basically a free agent. He can decide his own destiny. But of course, Brooklyn, the only way that we would be screwed is if Brooklyn says, all right, if you opt out, go ahead and walk. We're not going to help you out with anything, right? So go ahead and walk. We don't care. We'll take the cap space. If that happens, then I feel like a lot of teams would be screwed over that want to trade for him. And then he would be forced to only pick teams that have the cap to sign him. There's no way he's taking a $20 to $30 million pay cut, right? Kyrie's an intelligent guy. He's not going to do that. So he said, Dan, check your Twitter DM, shared the thread about how the Indiana trade is just misinformation. Well, if it is misinformation, man, again, we take all the rumors here with a grain of salt. I appreciate you for chiming in, Jack. But look, whether it's misinformation or not, one thing is for sure. I do believe Russell Westbrook will get traded. I believe that wholeheartedly. All right. And I just gave my take on the reason why. Now, if that is a false rumor, I'm just reporting to you guys what Bleacher Report has stated. So, take that with a grain of salt. But at the end of the day, Lakers are very heavily involved in all kinds of rumors. And we do know that the Indiana Pacers have put up players on the trade market. So, how true it can be, who knows? Rumors are going to be like that, though, man. They're going to surface and they're going to disappear. Then they're going to resurface again when they're at the breaking point, when a trade is about to be executed. We're going to hear something along the lines of breaking news. These two teams are heavily engaged in trade talks for said players. So that's when you really know that I got to come on here live and go heavy. But I was going to come and do this live stream anyways, regardless of that trade rumor or not, because the Charlotte Hornets are interested in Russell Westbrook, right? So that's the main reason I was going to do the video anyways. Kawhi and PG will not gel in this upcoming season. I'm not worried about them, man. Every year their name gets thrown into the hat of contenders, and every year they prove to be pretenders. They got really lucky the year everybody got injured in the Western Conference, and they made it to the Western Conference Finals. That's as far as they're going to go. All right, now, a lot of moving parts in the league, man. We don't know who the favorites are because free agency hasn't even hit, right? Like, we're not even close to knowing who the favorites are. So I'm going to reserve my picks for right now. Clearly, Stephen A. and all these knee-jerk reactors are going to say Warriors because they just won the championship. That's fine. But until teams get formulated and until teams actually start, you start seeing an identity, that's when you really can start telling who the real contenders and pretenders are. Usually that happens around mid to late December. That's when I can really give you my prediction on who I think is going to win the championship. And hopefully I will be hollering Lakers. He said NBA draft this Thursday. Yes, sir. Hey, looking forward to that. I'm going to break it down for you guys in a video. I'm going to give you guys my top 3 candidates that I hope either slip out of the draft and go and draft it so the Lakers can pick them up, or we trade up for a late second round pick and we're able to acquire one of these talents. So I'm going to give you guys a list. This video should be dropping about, what time is it now? Might be dropping around 4 to 5 p.m., maybe earlier. But yeah, I'm going to get to work as soon as this video is done. How realistic is it that we can get Kyrie Irving? It's going to, listen, I can sit here and make all the predictions and everything. Bro, I don't have the sources, so I can't tell you how realistic it is. But there is a chance. There's definitely a chance. And the fact is that it's going to matter on the personal communication between Brooklyn and Kyrie. If Kyrie does no longer want to be there because he feels disrespected, they don't want to give him a 4-year deal, then he will be gone to another team. But then Brooklyn also has to be willing to say, okay, you signed with us, and even though we didn't have the best of relationship, we're willing to help us help you, right? Get you to whatever destination you want to go to. That way you don't just leave in free agency for nothing, and we get a draft pick or 2 in return. So that would be the scenario you're looking forward to if you're a Laker fan and you want Kyrie. You want them to disagree but still have good communication to the point where they can, come together and decide where he can go, right? So, yeah. He said, what trade they reject? Look it up on Bleacher Report, bro. I already brought it up a couple times on the channel, but basically the report has it that Malcolm Brogdon to the Lakers was rejected for Russell Westbrook, a first pick, and THT. But definitely read up on it, man. Take it with a grain of salt because a lot of rumors out there, right? A lot of rumors. Can we trade Russ to the Hornets or however and send those picks to Brooklyn for Kyrie to LA? Now, that to me is intriguing, right? Because obviously we know most likely KD does not want to play again with Russell Westbrook and vice versa. Unless they rekindle or something behind the scenes, most likely those two do not want to play with each other, right? So it would probably have to involve with their team. If the third team is willing to take Russell Westbrook, but they have the right pieces to give up to, in that third 3-team deal to Brooklyn, then that could be a possibility. I'm not sure, though. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if Brooklyn wants Gordon Hayward and Kelly Oubre or Kelly Oubre and Teddy Rozier to go with KD. Could be wrong. Again, like my guy says right here, you're counting on Michael Jordan being the worst GM of all time. That is true. I mean, he drafted Adam Morrison, Emeka Okafor, and just a mountain top of atrocities before he got lucky with LaMelo. So, yeah. And also his other good pick that he had, which was okay. It wasn't like great, amazing, but it was good. Kemba Walker. So in all his years of being a GM or a partial owner of the Charlotte Bobcats, aka the Charlotte Hornets, he has made tons of bad picks and very few good ones. So yeah, I mean, maybe you could swindle them. You never know. Charlotte, Lakers, Nets, Dan, 3-team trade. That would be something I would love. I would absolutely love that if that could happen. Question is, again, do you have to give a first round draft pick to Charlotte so they can, participate in this? Or is Russell Westbrook just enough? Because if Russell Westbrook is just enough, then maybe Charlotte can throw a couple players that way, and then we can include a pick or two, and that would move the needle for the Brooklyn Nets to make that deal with us. But again, we're far from there right now. Right now, Kyrie and the Nets are communicating. We don't know what's going on behind closed doors. They could just be playing hardball and posturing up for a better contract for Kyrie, or this could be legit, that he's disgruntled and he wants out. If that happens, that's when I expect the Lakers to get heavily involved. I expect Woj, Shams, and everybody reporting on it, and yours truly would come on live and give you guys the updates on that. But for now, at least we know that Russell Westbrook has some trade value. That is a huge relief to a lot of people. Worst case scenario, he stays on the roster, he plays out his year, and we get hella cap space next year. People forget the fact that we're going to have over $80 million if LeBron James doesn't opt into his contract and becomes a free agent. And Russell Westbrook, obviously, his contract expires. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. But Lakers definitely playing all their cards out on the table. And they're showing us that they want to compete for a title, which is a good thing. This is what we expect as a diehard Laker fan base year in and year out. Right? Last year was not acceptable by any means necessary. Right? LeBron James fans know that. Us Laker fans, diehards, know that. We all know it wasn't acceptable for any party. So he said, no one should want Gordon Hayward. He's just injury prone. We need to find a third party team with assets and players over, or even a package. THT with Westbrook and get as much as possible. Maybe we could even bring in the OKC Thunder. They just gave him the keys to the city, Russell Westbrook, and they love him over there. He's beloved. It's not like they're winning anything anytime soon. And if they can get a draft pick in the process, I'm sure they would want to get involved. They also have a lot of young talent, right? They have Lou Dort, guys like that, who might intrigue another team, right? Maybe it could even be a 4-team deal. Also, the rumor about the Toronto Raptors being interested in THT seems to be realistic, and that's another trade partner that could emerge. So as long as we have options, good things can happen for us, Laker Nation. I wouldn't panic or overreact to any of these rumors. I'm just bringing them to you because I want you guys to know what I'm hearing and what I'm thinking about it, right? And I want to know what you guys are thinking about it as well. So that's the reason for this video. And matter of fact, listen, the rumor mill is going to be so hot. Don't be shocked if you see me dropping a video or two daily just to give you guys the updates as they come along. Matter of fact, if an update comes on the Lakers later on today, I'll drop one. All right, even though I'm already going to drop the drafting video. So a lot of work for me up ahead, but I love it, man. I enjoy it. It's my passion. So stay tuned. He said, what's up, bro? Hey, what's up, bro? Appreciate the donation. He said, I'm encouraged because even though Russ' trade got rejected, it shows that they're not afraid to trade him in the right deal. Absolutely. And again, people are saying that trade deal package is fake. Not sure if it is. So we're going to have to read up on the details, right, on that. But if it is true, yes, I am very encouraged by this because it means the Lakers are trying. Now, I do still believe that would have been a little too much for Brogdon, who had an injury-plagued season. If that's the case, we might as well go for TJ Warren in free agency as well and give him the mid-level exception, because TJ Warren was a beast in that bubble, right? Matter of fact, he was a beast before he got traded to the Pacers when he was on the Suns. So, again, we got so much moving parts here to work with, but Lakers definitely have to play their cards right. We are one good move away or two good moves away from becoming actual contenders, or we're also one bad move away from setting us back for years to come. So, which way is the pendulum going to swing? That's the question of the offseason. He said, honestly, just trade for a shooting guard because I believe DJ Augustine is a better shooter and decently enough for a starting point guard role or in a wing. Wait, so you just want to trade for a shooting guard? I think we need some wing depth as well, man. We need some 6'7" and up guys and some big men as well. Maybe power forward, the center wouldn't hurt. So yeah, I would love for that to happen. Can we always use shooters like Gary Harris? I'd love to have a shooter like Gary Harris in free agency. Lakers are going to have options, believe it or not, even with the limited cap flexibility that we have. But we don't want to put all our eggs in one basket, right? We just want to, fill up one hole. The shooting guard position, I think, was perfectly fine last year with Malik Monk. And if Kendrick Nunn comes back and he's actually able to play, if he doesn't get traded, then he could definitely be a combo guard for us off the bench or even start him sometimes. So yeah, as good as DJ Augustin's shooting was, he's a much better bench player. Playing 10 to 15 minutes a night. And he's not. Listen, he will get cooked in the starting lineups because most guards in the NBA are 6'4" and up at these days. So yeah. What do you think we're looking into the Euro League? We got to look everywhere. Matter of fact, today we had a couple more draft workouts. Most notably, his son, Shaq's son, Sharif O'Neal. I think that's his name. Yeah, Sharif. Is it Sharif? I forgot his name already, man. All bad. Anyways, that might be his mom. I don't know. Bottom line is, look, they worked out Shaq's son today, along with a couple of other draft prospects. So the Lakers are actually posturing up as if they're going to trade for a draft pick. So, or maybe even buy one, buy a draft pick or something like that. So I look forward to that. Again, draft, set your calendars, guys. 2 days ahead. We know the Lakers make a living out of the draft, out of late second-round picks, early second-round picks, late first-round picks. We've made a killing out of the draft. So be very excited. As well as Summer League starts, I think, officially July the 2nd. And free agency starts on June 29th at 3 p.m. Pacific time. So just so many key dates here for the Lakers to improve slowly but surely. And I will have you guys updated on every single thing that happens. So make sure you keep it locked right here for all things Lakers and the number one Lakers channel that gives the people a voice. So definitely join the Lakers family if you already haven't subscribed. That's going to wrap it up for me today, guys. But again, this might not be the last of me you see today. Because I will be dropping already the draft video plus whatever updates come along. So stay tuned and make sure that you keep it locked. Don't forget to subscribe. Peace out.